Hey everyone, we're here with Nick Dixon from Volatile Games talking about Dead to Rights Retribution. It's sort of a reimagining of the original Dead to Rights, right?
Well, I'd say it's probably even more than that. I think we're treating this as a complete year zero, ground-up reinvention of the entire thing. It was the right time to do it. The consoles and audiences have matured. The consoles are pushed on. So now's the time to come back to the franchise and look at the characters and the world afresh from the beginning, without any previous iteration lending any kind of material to it other than what we would like.
All right, so someone coming to Dead to Rights for the first time, who do they play as in this game?
Okay, so they play as Jack Slate, who's a hard-as-nails vice cop who is ex-Force Recon in the Marines. He's coming into Grant City, which is, I think, the worst place on Earth you could imagine. It's a microcosm of greed, crime, corruption, poverty, all centralized into this one place. And he's a kind of knight in rusty armor, so it's his job to walk in where people wouldn't, and he's going to go in and he's going to sort out whatever the bad situation is happening. But alongside him is going to be Shadow, who's his companion, who he will meet in the course of the game. So it's a big origin story, and he's a larger-than-life, hyper-realistic good guy.
All right, let's focus on Jack first. We'll talk about Shadow, but let's focus on Jack. This guy, as you mentioned, is pretty much a badass. He's a good fighter, he's good with weapons. Tell us about the combat in the game, which seems to be a big focus in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the combat is a really big focus. We looked at the previous iterations, and we also looked at what other games were doing or not doing, and we really felt that there isn't a lot of seamless transition between hand-to-hand and gun combat. Normally, it's a quick-time event that takes you from one to the other, and in the previous series, it was very much this level is hand-to-hand, this level is guns, so which is great, but we really wanted to advance it forward. So we said, okay, well, let's put hand-to-hand, gun combat, into the same control system at the same time and seamlessly blend between the two. So you can punch, you can shoot, you can take a guy down, you can use combos, all in the same space on the same control pad.
And it seems like one of the keys to the game is that you're able to take out multiple enemies. If you're being attacked from all angles, you can still handle things, right?
That's right. We don't want enemies to stand outside the fight circle and just pussyfooted around waiting for you to come in. We want them to pile in, and if you're not handling your situation properly, they're going to gang up on you and they're going to kick 10 bells out of you. And a good player will be able to manipulate the enemies around him. When you get overwhelmed, that's when you need to start using your skills.
And it also seems like there's a focus on hand-to-hand combat, but there's a gun element as well. But it seems like guns are like catch as catch can. Get them when you can and discard them when they're done, right?
That's true. Guns are a commodity within the game. You own a gun, you own a bit of the floor space. So if there's a shotgun out there, I want that weapon because it's going to do an awful lot of damage. Now, the disarms were quite a popular part of the franchise. We're saying this time is if you want the gun, you disarm someone of it. If they want it, they're going to disarm it off you. And I've had situations where I've disarmed one enemy only for another enemy next to me to take the gun out of my hand.
All right, we've got Jack punching, we've got Jack kicking, we've got Jack shooting guns and throwing grenades, but there's also Shadow. He's a pretty formidable weapon himself, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. I tell you what, we looked at, when we first looked at Shadow, went online, we looked at some police videos. Now, these are pretty sick dogs who will run 50 yards, leap over the bonnet of a car and take out an armed assailant without any fear or sense of self at all. We took those videos and we put them in the game. We said, that's what we're having that dog in this game. So yeah, as a commandable buddy, as your wingman, you can send him forward, he's going to run 50 yards, he's going to sick a guy from a distance, or you can pull him back into your fight circle, you can get him to pick up a weapon and bring you the weapon, but it's all contextual. If the enemy's looking away, Shadow will stealth up to him, he'll take him out from behind, and he'll just put his mouth over your mouth, and he'll suffocate that enemy.
All right, Nick, so give us the name of the game one more time, the platforms, and when it's coming out.
Okay, so the game's name is Dead to Rights Retribution. It's coming out in Q4 2009 on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.